I thought you. Get ready to go online. Hi, everybody. This is your stay-at-home grandma, and it is John's birthday. So everybody wants to come on and wish him a happy birthday. And John, I'm not Joey at all, but I'm gonna do my best to entertain you. And I'm not gonna sing happy birthday. I'd like you to like me. Okay, I lost my voice during the stroke epidemic. Trying to get comfortable here. So it's his 52nd birthday, and let's see when he gets on. Let's see who else comes on. I'm just sitting here. I'm cold. This is not right because it's cold out there. And then we're supposed to have thunderstorms. The thunderstorms I got, I mean, we could use the rain, I guess, but I don't know. But anyway, and then as soon as it gets hot, I'll be complaining that I'm hot, even though I have air conditioner everywhere. But so I'll tell you while we're waiting for people to come on that I was going to take a nap because, like I said, around 8 o'clock, I turned into a pumpkin. Hey, John.
Look at me, I'm a little tiny.
I know, huh? I know I'm not Joey, but happy birthday.
Thank you.
I mean, you've been supporting me since day one when we lost him. I got to support you. And would you please do me a favor and email me your Cashapp?
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. All right. I'll put my email down in here in the chat because I don't know whether you know it or not.
I see it. The Yahoo, or is that? I see a screen thing going by. We'll have Renee grab it.
Yeah, there's a couple of them there. I just emailed it. I mean, I just wrote it in the chat. So
okay, well, Renee.
Yeah, so can do that. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
So you are now 52.
Yep.
So I realized that you and Joe were actually the same age because he would have been 52. Yeah. Mm. But anyway,
Joe was just a couple months older than me. 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you have a good day today? Did you work today?
No, I took the day off from work.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, I actually got off a half hour early yesterday, which never happens. Mm-hmm. He actually tells me to do, my boss told me to do something. And I'm like, all right, well, I ain't getting out here till like 4, which is a half hour past what I'm supposed to. And then I go, all right, let me go to the bathroom. I'll come out, head out and do that. And I come out, change your plans, go do this. Like, okay. And I'm like, I'm going to get done like an hour early. So I went and did that really quick. And then came back and he says, go do that. Then just take the car up, go home. Okay.
Hey, so, yeah.
And me and Renee went out for breakfast. And then we went and did a little shopping. I bought a little bit of some mead. There's a local meadery in my town, which I didn't know about till a couple weeks ago. So one of the stores in town has it. So I went there and I got a fig mead. I'm not sure. I'm going to drink it a little bit later. I'm not sure. There was that, or I think it was a saffron. And I'm like, I'll try the fig. I don't want to try the saffron. I don't know. So I did that and then I went by the...
what was the fig and the saffron?
I don't know. It was a saffron flavored meat. That's what it said.
Oh, okay. All right. Saffron. Well, I've cooked with saffron and I think it's pretty good. I really can't tell you how the taste is, but it's good. You know what I mean? The fig, I think fig and pork are good.
If it's fig with black tea and brown sugar is what they use to make it. So it means made with honey, so they add bread. So I'm like, that actually doesn't sound bad. So I'll give that a taste tonight. Like, if I don't like it, I have friends that'll drink it, and if I do like it, well, I'll drink it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Mobs, if you want to come up and tell Jonicide happy birthday, it's in the chat, but I'll put it back on again.
I talked to Bee Gees today out in Australia. I told her we were doing this, hoping she shows up, but I don't know what the time difference is for her. It might be a crazy time for her. So
She's in the UK, right?
she's in Australia. She's in Adelaide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, and then I know Jilly knows about it, but she's still struggling with her health, yeah. So hopefully she'll show up, but if she doesn't, she doesn't. And I was watching the Grannies earlier, but really, I was eating breakfast while they were on, so I kind of
was
missed half of it.
Maggie and Robin on together?
It was Robin and Corey. Maggie's still taking some time off. Yeah.
I
They didn't
forgot
have a
today
guest.
was
It was just them just shooting the shit. So
Hey,
but I
Renee.
was in their chat for a little bit, but I was also running around doing stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
And other than that, my foster kid got me a apron. Renee bought me a nice bag with Odin on it.
Okay.
And other than that, I'm just happy to have a day off.
Yeah. You're always working.
We're short staffed, and I'm lucky that I can work and still do some YouTube stuff. I can't always do YouTube stuff, but because I'm out in the field, I'm out doing stuff, so I can watch YouTube and listen, and sometimes I can chat depending on what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I get breaks, so I take my breaks, and I'll be in a chat. My boss goes, you didn't do much today, and I'm like, I got stuck in a YouTube chat. He's like, come on, you're supposed to be working. I'm like, yeah, well, I did more than anybody else. He's like, that's true. I get away with so much because when he asks me to do something, I do it. And he goes, it's the one thing he's taking next Tuesday off. He has to take a personal day. And he goes, I'm counting on you. I'm already figuring out what I want you to do. And I'm like, just tell me what needs to be done. I'll get it done if I can. If I can't, I ran out of time. He's like, I'm not worried about it. But he worries about everybody else. He even tells me, he's like, can you talk to this guy? Like, okay, we have a short timer. Only works one day a week. Can you give him a little hint that he still works here? Because he works one day a week. So he's checked out. But, hey, you really need to still do your job. He's like, I know I had a bad day. Okay. Don't have another one, though. It's like, I won't. Like, or quit. You can. That is an option. It's like, I don't want to quit. I like doing this. Okay. Well,
then if you like doing it, do it.
Yeah, but yeah, he wanted to get he was part-time. Well, he was 30 hours a week, and he went to Amazon as a delivery driver. Now he gets over 40 some weeks, and then some weeks they just tell him, "Oh, we don't have a route," and he'll just come down and pick up like a half a shift, 6-hour shift with us. As we're short staffed. We've got 3 full-time, and we need 6 full-time. So
I think everybody is short staffed.
Seems like it.
My friends down the street from me, they have a restaurant, because we're on the water, so it's called Krabby's. And my caregiver's daughter works there, and she says she's one of the managers in the kitchen, and she said that it's hard keeping help now.
Yeah, because everybody can go out and get there's a McDonald's that's completely always hiring. And I don't go to McDonald's, but I drive by it and they're always hiring. So I was talking to somebody and they have a fast turnaround because if someone that gets hired that's younger has any kind of conflict or whatever, all of a sudden just go, oh, well, I'll go work for Jack in the Box. They're hiring, and they've had people that have jumped around in a year that have gone from like McDonald's, Burger King, Jack in the Box, Taco Bell back to McDonald's. They got hired back. Are you going to quit the way you did last time? No, but they hired because they need the people.
But then again, too, like, my granddaughter, they just graduated from college now. She just got her job and stuff like that. But she works for Amazon and she is a driver for what is it? Not Instacart, the other one.
Oh.
She delivers food.
Okay.
So she can pick up shifts and she can work all day. Okay. So a lot of them go to things where they can come and they can kind of go as they please. I'm doing fine. How you doing, Mom? Mom, you can come up if you want to, Renee. You can come up too. Somebody got to sing
Oh,
happy
Renee's right
birthday
there.
because I can't sing. Hey, Renee, I cannot sing. Okay,
Neither can I.
he will shoot me. I used to
I
be
don't
able
worry
to
about it.
sing,
I'll
but
get
when
the
I had
birthday
the
whenever
stroke,
we do
it
dinner.
went with it.
I like a friend of mine just turned like 55, and we were talking about it, and her partner was mad that she didn't get any. They were going to go out for dinner, and you didn't get any presents, you didn't get anything, and I'm like, did you want presents? Is there something you wanted you weren't going to buy for yourself? And she goes, no, I mean it's nice to get surprised. She's like, but you know what I like is that and this is what I like too. On Facebook, people took time out of their day just to wish me a happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
That means more to me than people I see in real life, people I've never met wishing
Well,
me a happy.
see,
That's
that's why
fun.
I had to do that tonight because, like I said, from day one, since Joey's, loss, everybody has been there for me. You know what I mean? So I had to do that for you. I know I'm not Joey. I wish I was, because apparently he had a really charismatic personality. Oh
He
yeah.
did.
I mean, I knew
I
he always had a personality. He was always so much fun, but the people that he knew, I just didn't really know about it.
I've talked to my friends about this. I go, a man I never met in the real world, only knew him from his YouTube show than being on his YouTube channel, affected me more than a guy I knew 15 years that passed away. I mean, it's just I go and I can't explain it. I go it was just his personality, who he was. He saw through people so fast, and he saw people. I just think he knew when someone was decent. Like, we bonded over the fact we're the same age, and he would just
Mhm.
make movie references, and I would and cartoon and comic book, and I mean, I'm not the biggest comic book guy, but I know enough that I keep the conversation going. But I got the references. I got about 90% of the movie references and about
Yeah.
75% of the music references because we did listen to different styles of music growing up, but we both watched MTV growing up. So anything he said that had to do with MTV didn't matter. And I told my kids this. I was a metalhead. I listened to heavy metal, but I watched MTV, and you watched everything on MTV.
And yeah,
You
you
know,
did.
it didn't matter. It's like same with like movies. He's like, "How'd you know? You know how to get you, sucker?" I'm like, "Yeah." First, it was a funny movie, but it was on cable. We watched everything. It didn't matter what it was. It was, I haven't seen this. Let's watch this. If it's funny, you watched it several times. If it was good, you
Mhm.
watched it several times.
Yeah, we used to go to the movies like every Tuesday when he was, up until he was about maybe 14. And they used to have a Tuesday where it was a dollar night, and we would go to every movie and every Tuesday. And then it was funny because at one particular time, I think we had seen every movie out before they could get. But it was something that we like to do. And to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't have any idea what the Star Wars movies were at first. But then I started getting into them. So, now his
Yeah,
comic book thing, that was his thing. And people would say, why do you, and because you're a teacher, why do you let him read comic books? I said, because he's reading. But he read
yeah.
everything. But people always have to question what they see. But I would give him books and he would read them. And then we would talk about them.
My mom. I mean, I'm dyslexic, so I had a really hard time learning to read. Really hard. I didn't want to learn to read. I couldn't read. I'd see word. I don't see letters backwards. I see words out of place. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to double check my chat sometimes. I haven't done it in a while, but every now and then, instead of saying like the red house, I write the house red, and just things like that. And I reverse numbers a little bit sometimes. But when I got to read, my mom, I remember she bought me a book, and there's like 25, 30 books of this series now, 40 years later. And I
Mm-hmm.
still, but she got me to read. And me and my mom, we didn't read the same things, but she'd go to the store, she'd come back, I got you a book. And I'm like, okay, a book of fantasies, books about wolves,
Mm-hmm.
anything that I could do to read, she was all about. And I don't read as much now, but I listen to Audible almost every day.
Well, see, the
I've gotten
thing is,
lazy.
yeah, the trick is with children is school is already mapped out for them. So at home, when you get something for them to read, take a look at what they're interested in and then give them that. So he liked comic books and he liked, Star Wars books and, Astro, different kinds of books and stuff like that. So he'd be saying, like, what are you reading? And I would tell him, he said, well, when you're finished, give it to me. So he would, if it interests him, I would give it to him. So
like me.
So anyway,
The
I mean, I just am amazed at, and I mean, I'm still hearing from people,
Well,
so, I mean, it was a good ride with him. It really was,
I just keep
we
thinking we're gonna feel this for years. I mean, there's just gonna be years that, and the weirdest thing happened to me yesterday. I actually almost called Jill while it was happening, but I was driving and I don't have her programmed into my speed dial yet. The theme song for Paranormal Hood came on. Well,
oh, really?
it showed up like it's supposed to play, but it didn't play. And I was like, I haven't heard the song in a very long time. When it comes on my Spotify for a while, I've been skipping it because I just can't listen to it. And it came up, and it's near my birthday, and I'm like, oh, I really want to hear this song now. And I start turning the radio up so everybody else can hear the song. It didn't play though, and I'm like, and I just out loud go, "Are you messing with me? Are you messing? You're messing with me. It's not my birthday. You're messing with me. I want to hear the song. Just play the song." And I'm in traffic and I pick up my phone to see if maybe it's paused, it's slow down, lost signal, something. Nope, nothing. I'm like, all right, you're messing with me. And I skipped the song, went to the next song, and that song started to play. And then I went back to it. Are you going to play it now? And it started.
Oh,
And I'm
really?
like, I knew you were messing with me. You can say whatever you want. To me, Joey was telling me happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, I have my little conversations with him when I'm out in the garden. For some reason or other, because when he used to come here, now we had gardens when they were little. My daughter just didn't start gardening until about the last 2 or 3 years. But he would always come out and he would just sit there and drink his drink and whatever and hand me the shovel and what's that? And everything like that. He didn't really participate in it, but he always kept me company. And so I've been out in the garden pretty much every day except today. And he would go out and sit out in the garden and he's been sitting out there with me. So yeah, we're not going to ever get over it.
I don't think so. No, it's like when my parents died 2 years apart. Within 2 years, my mom and dad died. And a friend of mine's mom died about 2 years ago, and he was devastated. And I just reached out to him and said, "Hey, man, I know it's hard, but it does get better." He goes, "Does it really get better?" And I said, "No, it doesn't, but you
It
get
doesn't.
used to it." I go, "And if you need to talk, I'm here." And in the last 2 years, I've talked to him maybe 3 times, and I see him now. When I'm working, I run into him every now and then, and he's like, "You're the only one that reached out to me." He goes, "I was just, like, why can't why is no one reaching out to me? I mean, I'm hurting and everyone's talking about they've lost people." And I was like, he goes, "The only one." I'm like, "Well, I hate to tell you this, but some people don't know how to deal with their grief. It's
No,
a hard thing to deal with,
no. And that's
And
why
I
I
go,
think that, every 2 weeks we're going to have this little chat on how we feel because nobody really talks to how they feel because nobody really wants to listen. And as a school counselor and stuff like that, you get a lot of grief. And I'm also trained as a grief counselor as well, but you get a lot of grief and stuff like that, and you have to talk to it, and you don't always have to go to a therapist. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, having said that, I just decided that, and I wasn't going to do it every week because I think that after a while it becomes repetition. So if we do it a couple of times a month, the first of the month, and then I changed this Wednesday to next Wednesday. So,
yeah,
so it would be good to just talking about it and getting it off our chest because it's something, especially when you lose parents or a child. Okay. That weighs heavily on you because you always think that your parents are invincible, that they're always going
yeah.
to be there. And when they're suddenly not, you're like, what the hell? You know what I mean? How'd that happen?
Mm. When my dad got cancer, he had mesothelioma. I hope I said that right, though. Lung cancer from asbestos. And they
Really?
gave him 3 years, and he lived 4.5 after they told him. And I'm just like, my thing with my guilt with him is, and I know it's my guilt. It's he wanted ice cream the day before he passed away. He thought that it said ice cubes, and he thought it said ice cream. And had I known this would be the second to last time I'd see my father, I would have said, "Hey, I'll be right back," and I would have ran down to the store, to the wherever I had, and bought him a little bit of ice cream. And and I feel guilty I didn't do that, but I didn't know. And then it's not a fair guilt for me, but I still feel it, and I'm aware of
And I
that.
can't tell you get over it because you don't.
Yeah, my mom was different. She was going to go. It was a Saturday night. All the kids, but the one that lives out of state. She called. We were there. We all came by and saw her. Most of the grandkids came by and saw her, except the ones that are out of state. And we were going to come in the next day, give her a shower, and the next day she was going to go into a home to get not a home but a rehab center, because she had a urinary tract infection that got so bad she was losing muscle tone, and she wasn't in any pain. She just couldn't figure why she couldn't walk. There was no discomfort, but then when we took her into the doctor, this is what's going on. We have to hospitalize you. You need to be on IV antibiotics and all this. And she was in the hospital a couple of days, and then we go in that Sunday to give her a bath. And as I walk towards her room, all I hear is, "That's her family." And I swear, I just dropped in my head. I just like, oh God, something's going on. And I didn't have power of attorney, which I can't remember the name of power of attorney. I kept saying, "I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge. My sister Janie's in charge. I'm not in charge." And the doctor's just like, "But you're here. What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "What's going on?" She had a heart episode. She had a heart attack. But they said, "Heart episode. Do you want us to try to bring her back? How long have you been working on her?" "Over 5 minutes." I said, "No. There'll be brain damage. She doesn't want to be a vegetable. We've already had this conversation." "No." He goes, "Okay." He goes, and then he comes back and he goes, "Okay, we shot her up with some drugs, so she's still here." And I'm like, just like start to feel relief. He goes, "But once the drugs were off, she's going to go. What do you want us to do?" "I'll let her go then." And I had to tell my family. And the nice thing about my family, I have 3 sisters and a brother. None of them said I made the wrong decision.
Hold on one second. Hi, Angel. How are you? Thank you for coming into. This is Jonicide, and it's his birthday, and he helped me through the whole turmoil of my son. This is Angel. She's wonderful. You got to go to her channel.
Angel. I'll try to remember that.
Yeah. Angel, if you want to come on, I'll put the link in again.
Yeah, but that's with my my family. The only thing that got me is I told my sister had to pick up my brother from church, and I told them, "Text me when you're in the parking lot, so let you know what's going on." And they texted me in the elevator. We're almost to her room, and my text back is, "She passed. We're downstairs," because they have a grief room at the hospitals, And my brother goes, "I'm glad you got us, but over a text." And I said, "I told you to text me when you got into the parking lot." And I go, "Listen to the text. Text me when you're in the parking lot. You text me on the elevator." He's like, "I'm just giving you crap. I'm trying to find humor now." And there was no humor in that for a while. But now we kind of laugh about it because he's just like, "At least you texted me." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's how you found out your mom died, is a text from your brother?" He's like, "Hey, it's better than walking into the room seeing him work on her." Like, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So we see the humor in it now because it's been 11 years. Well, this year will be 11 years. And I can joke about some stuff about it, but like my dad, when he passed, I swear my dad did not like any tool, utility, light fixture, anything that's still available. He bought the last of the ones they stopped making the day after he died. I swear to God, we couldn't find light bulbs we had to replace our front porch light. We had to replace just a bunch of things because he bought, they don't make those anymore. They haven't made those for like 8 years. I'm like, what? I need a light bulb for that. Well, we don't have them because it was a specialty light bulb. We don't have it. Well, now I need a new light bulb, a new outdoor light. which I got. Put one in. It's pretty.
Okay.
That's the thing. We always bitch about that. And
It's
then
funny
my
you
sister,
talk about your father and lung cancer, because my mother never smoked, but she had lung cancer. And it's funny too, because she went to the hospital and they operated on her and stuff like that. And they said, well, you better get all your house in order because you only got 6 months. 4 years later, right before I think it was Christmas. It was her last holiday with me. I do know that. So it must have been Christmas or Easter. She was cooking and we were cooking and she started laughing. And I said, what are you laughing at? And she said, that's the longest 6 months I've ever had in my life. And I'm like, I said, well, look, you always told me they're not God. So, hey. And then after that, she lived another 5 or 6 months and then she died. And she was in a coma and they were going to move her into like another like living facility, to take care of her and stuff like that, because I wouldn't let them pull the plug on her. And she was supposed to go that Monday. That Sunday she died. So, I said, well, she said she never wanted to go into a home of any sort. So,
yeah, my mom was the same way because my grandma, her mom, spent like 3 years in the home, and I don't remember if she had dementia or Alzheimer's but she forgot who she was, and it was just a really bad. I barely remember my grandma. I mean, I never met my dad's mom. She was because they lived across the country, and both my grandfathers. I always think it's funny because of age thing. Both my grandfathers were World War One vets. And they died. The one I'm named after died about a month before I was born, and then my mom's dad died in the 50s. I want to say 50, 54, 55, right around there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's because people are talking about, my grandfather was in World War II as kids, and I'm like, my grandfather's fought in World War One. My mom was 42 when she had me in 1970.
Okay.
And a lot of people like in 1970, they were like, no, don't have it. You're too old to have a child. Where now it's commonplace even to be close to your 50s. She was 46, 47. She just had her first kid.
Hey, Ray, how
and
you doing?
wasn't even trying, I guess. Well, they weren't trying. They just, they decided, for years they were trying. Nothing happened. And they're like, okay, I guess we're not going to have kids. And then, their daughter got born less than a year ago. She's not even a year old yet. And I'm just like, how do you feel about that? She's like, we're ecstatic. It's just, we're going to be older parents. So I said, yeah, well, just get used to everyone calling you grandpa and grandpa later, when you start showing your age, because they don't yet.
Yeah.
But either way, look at this, no gray. Don't dye my hair. Just take after my mom's dad. He didn't turn gray until his 60s when he had a stroke. And then he went gray overnight. So I'm like, I'm good then. Because I have a friend that's mad at me because he's a year younger exactly. This day's his birthday, and he's going gray. His beard's all gray. He's just like, how come did you dye your hair? I'm like, no, I want more gray. I look more like a wizard.
Well, you'll get it when you get it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I don't got no vanity about that.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause my hair is mostly all gray, so I don't care. I'm happy to be alive.
Buddy Xerxes.
Oh, okay. Oh, the dog. Yeah.
Yep, he was always on the Jiggy Show, so.
Yeah.
He hears me talking, he's just like, you talking to me? Let me come and get you.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we get him barking at Robin. I always want to do that, get him to train him to go when I say Robin for him to start barking, but he won't do it.
Yeah, Ray said he's a cute dog. He is a cute dog. I remember him because lots of times I would come on and say hi to everybody and I'd just stay there and everything like that and just let it, play and stuff like that. And I'd look on every now and then because I never knew, to be perfectly honest with you, I never knew what you guys were talking about. I mean, once or twice, we hit it where, I could actually make some comments and stuff like that, but that was way over my head. So, what I mean? I always loved to support him,
that's my mom in the chat. He's like, ask her anything you want. I've never lied about anything. He never did. He always said, ask her, tell her, she'll tell you what I'm doing, what I've done.
Yeah, I know. Because one day he was actually talking about me when I was on, right? And I didn't say hi to him or anything like that because I wanted to hear the whole story. Then I said, "Oh, so now you're talking about me? I think you were on there." I
Yeah.
said, "You're talking about me, and I'm not here to defend myself." And it was just really funny. But he was, yeah,
Hey, Six Drops. Thank you.
yeah. Hey, oh yeah, hey, Six Drops, how are you? So
She was
Ray, tell
ignoring me in Robin's
everybody
chat.
that wants to come on, if you want to come on Six Drops, I'll give it to you. I'll put it again. Tell him happy birthday. If you want to sing to him, that's fine. I'll listen because I'm not singing. Because I know that he'll disown me.
Never.
I know you won't. But I'm just saying now, my voice is really, it used to be a usable voice. Now it's just a voice. I can talk. That's about it. I'm happy.
And this is Honey Bear. She's come up because she heard me talking. And she said I'd be giving Xerxes loving, so now she's got to get her loving.
Of course. They're just like kids. They are
Oh,
just
they
like
are. They are. If I take one of the dogs, well, Thor's floating around here somewhere. There's our other dog. If I take him and not Xerxes, you can hear Xerxes crying all the way to the car.
Really?
But then I take both of them, and then Thor just whines because he wanted to be by himself. With the other day, I took the boy to the bank, and but took the dogs. I wasn't getting out of the car. The dogs can ride with us. It's nice, windows down. And Thor whined the entire time, like, "You whining because Xerxes came along?" And it's kind of like, yeah.
I was special.
Like Xerxes gets to go sometimes without you. And if Thor whines. And then he comes up to me and gives me kisses, then he ignores me, like, "Okay, you're back, good. Now I'm mad at you." And he'll ignore me. It is so funny.
Yeah. See, I don't have any animals anymore because when the kids were coming up, we had what was known as the Web City Zoo. We had everything: rabbits, dogs, cats, gerbils, hamsters, guinea pigs. We had everything. Not all at the same time, but I remember like Joey had fish and he came home and we brought all this goldfish. And I said, "So what are you going to name him?" So he made this song up called Goldie and Pinky and Fanny and Greenie. And he used to sing it every day to them. "Good morning, Goldie and Pinky and Fanny and Greenie." And we would die.
I got a song. I write songs for all my dogs. There's little like lyrics I sing to them, like Honey Bear is just simply Honey Bear, oh the Honey Bear. And she knows it's her song. My dog Superfly had a song. Of course, it wasn't the Superfly. I named him after the Curtis Mayfield song. I was really into Curtis Mayfield for a little bit because his guitar playing. That guy's a genius. I mean, he tuned so weird. He put his guitar would be all like every string would be a G, and then the B string would be in E, and he'd write a whole. And I'm like, how I can't figure out how to play it. And so I take it to my guitar teacher, who's this guy I've known my entire life, and he's just like, "Hey," and he goes, "Yeah, you're on your own on this one." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Everything's in G." I'm like, "Yeah, I know everything's in G." He's like, "But I think that's E, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you." And I'm like, trying, but I really got, and I just love that song. The movie, not so much, but the song and the soundtrack was so good that I'm like, I'm going to name my dog Superfly. And when I was thinking that, the dog got pregnant. And so in day 2 of the puppy, so it was my sister's dog, I went, that one's mine. His name's Superfly. And for 14 years, that was my dog.
Superfly. I remember that movie and I thought it was the stupidest movie ever. Okay. But Joey's father and I were married at the time, and he liked all of those movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't even pimp material, but he liked them. He was a straight-laced kind of guy. But he would go to all the movies and everything. Anything that I can't think of, but Ron, I forgot what all the people's names were and everything like that. But now James Bond movies, I liked.
Yeah.
I liked that, but nah, none of the pimp movies.
We grew up. It wasn't every week, but like on the weekends, as kids, would always hit a movie. It seemed like it, especially in grade school, the junior high, And then in high school, if a movie came on we wanted to see, we'd go and see it, you know. And then what I always thought was funny in my 20s is when I'd go see movies more than once in the theater. You know, if I really liked a movie, we go see it in the theater. We already saw this movie. Let's go see it again. Okay. Which I always thought was funny that we did that. That was before online stuff, you know, and before stuff was on cable. And or the VHS would be a year and a half out. Of course, in my 30s, my neighbor who was in high school, and he's one of my best friends now. In fact, he just turned 37 a couple months ago. He has one of his best friends got a job at the movie theater, and I'm like just talking to him. And I go, so how do I get a free movie? He's like, well, come into the last show and I'll get you in for free. I'm like, okay. So I'd show up on a Friday or Saturday night, you know, and text him, hey, I'm outside. Yeah, come on in. So I walk in. He's like, this is my guy. This is my pass for the day or whatever. And I'd go and see movies for free. I mean, I saw everything back in like 2002 to 2003. Every week I was in the movie theater.
Really?
Yeah, I saw bad movies, good movies. It didn't even matter. I'll go see something. That's also when I got off drugs.
On television.
Yeah,
because
I was getting off drugs, so it was an escape from that more than anything.
I have Fire Stick, so I can just about see anything. Ray of Sunshine. She said she can't have any animals because her son has allergies. But I was going to tell you, Ray, if you can stand it, get him one of those hairless cats or dogs. They're ugly. I don't know whether you really want.
We have a friend that has the Sphinx cats. There's also hyperallergenic cats. Russian blues are hyperallergenic, so they don't have the dandruff.
I didn't know that.
And
all
I forget that there's a dog too. I think it's someone, I can't remember. I want to say it's a Labradoodle, but it's a mixed dog. But for some reason, it's hyperallergenic.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the dandruff.
Have some human-like hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
the Russian blue, I think is the one. Yeah, because I remember I saw because I just dogs. Like I'm allergic to cats, and they will get a Russian blue because they don't have the dandruff. They're hyper.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm allergic to both of them now because of the stroke and stuff like that. But then so is one of my granddaughters. She's allergic to dogs, cats, and everything. But they have a rabbit, so she's not allergic to rabbit hair. So, but I was just saying, you could get those hairless cats and dogs, but they're so ugly though. Oh God.
Oh, yeah, Chinese crust are the hairless dogs. Well, they're one breed of the hairless dog. There's
also hairless.
Yeah. And then the Sphinx cats. Yeah, my friends got Sphinx cats, and the only problem with them is they have heart murmurs. So she had one after 8 years. It just one day it just laid down, and she goes, she washed it a breath, struggled with the breath, took one more breath, and that was it. And she, yeah, so well,
where they can tell it's a few days like that.
Well, that's horrible.
Yeah, so that's the only thing about the Sphinx cats, and they are weird looking though because they have no hair.
Yeah,
but
they are.
I like her cats. Their cats are awesome. They come up and say it's like they knew I was allergic to cats.
One of my girlfriends that I went to high school with, we're friends on Facebook, and she bought one of those hairless cats, and then she showed it, and I'm like, oh God, I couldn't even go to sleep with something like that in the house. Hey, KB, how you doing? I mean, I really couldn't. I'd be like scared it would jump up in the bed or something and look at me, and I'd be like half asleep. And if Joey was alive, he would tell you when I'm half asleep, I see all kinds of things. Okay, you know what I mean? And so I would probably think it was some kind of monster from outer space or something. I don't know. I just KB saying happy birthday to you.
Hi, KB. Thank you.
A minute.
KB just went to Vegas with her husband. They had a blast, it looked like.
I love Vegas.
I think this is fun.
I've only been there once, but I really liked it when I went in 2007.
I went twice.
Yeah.
My aunt used to live before she passed. She was known as the Rose Lady of Vegas. She won all the she grew roses in her garden. She won all these roses.
Really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of paper stuff. She's in the paper several times. And then she knew everybody, like the old school. She always talked about Wayne Newton was the nicest guy she ever met. And her husband at the time worked at one of the last mob-owned casinos. And I always thought that was funny. I forget what the name of the casino was. The Imperial. It was the last mob casino before the corporations took over, which, a different kind of mob.
With the corporation are nothing but anatomic mobsters anyway.
Yep.
I don't know. I might go back. I don't know. First of all, I got to be able to travel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of
So we'll
worried
see
of traveling
about
right
that.
now. Yeah.
I lived in Hawaii, so it was a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, Renee's like, I'm from LA. It was a 4-hour drive for us.
Leave at 1
Hey,
o'clock.
Carol, thank you
I want to
again.
go to England.
Yeah.
Carol, how you doing? Carol, wait 1 second, John. Carol, you a pizza type of situation? You know those little pizza, the wooden ones, and you want to know how I know that, huh? Okay, she'll answer me in a minute. I want to go to England, and
Yeah.
I think it's Jimmy. I want to visit
Jimmy, yeah.
because
Jimmy
him and
Sarah.
Joey were supposed to get together,
Jimmy, yeah.
and go to the castle and all this other kind of stuff. So I really would like to be able to travel one more time to my mother's home, well, my grandfather's home, Portugal, and then I would like to go to England. So
Yeah,
that's where I really
got to
want to
meet
go.
up with Jimmy and Sarah and Micah, and then go up and meet up with Maggie. And there's a couple other people I know that Sarah, Stevie. I don't know if he's been here, but he's been in Joey's chat a couple times. He's a little more aloof, but he's a real nice guy. I like to see him. Then if I go to England, I gotta go to Ireland. I gotta go to Scotland. I'd love to go to Portugal and Spain. I think that would be really cool because I don't know too much about those countries as far as the histories and the architecture, other than what I see.
Well, I
And
don't
I'm
know
like,
anything about
beautiful.
Spain at all. I don't know anything about Spain, but I know a little bit about Portugal because my grandfather and grandmother came from my mother's mother. And so my mother has been back. And when I was a kid, we went back a couple of times and stuff like that. And then my grandfather came here. Okay. And well, he was back and forth for a while, from what I understand. I don't know, but he came here and started a little farm. So
What are you? They're just making weird noises. Like, what's he doing?
Pizza, the pizza wrap that's wood, Carol. And you're wondering why I knew that. I heard on Aaliyah's deals that you had asked for it. Because I think I have 2 of them. I think. I have to probably show them to you over the I'll have to go up and show them to you sometime when we're on and let you see it. But yeah, yeah, that's where I want to go. I can't even really tell you about the architect in Portugal because I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know
Well, as
what
a
I
kid, I
mean?
went to Washington, D.C., and I couldn't tell you anything other than it was a boring trip, and I was bored the entire time.
Yeah. Well, the first time I went, I was a kid, but then I went when I was an adult. You know, I took my class with me and stuff like that. And then I went to the Vietnam Wall because I lost a lot of people in the Vietnam Wall. So, you
I've
know, I
got a
need to go.
cousin that's on that wall, but right now I can't think of his name, but I know it. I just have to remember it. But then I remember seeing. Oh, thing I remember is the Lincoln Memorial, but it looked as a kid it was huge, and then seeing pictures and people standing in front of it, it's not as big as I remember. But I want to go back to see. But other than that, I just remember I was bored. Thank you, Ray.
Near the Smithsonian.
Yeah, like the Smithsonian would be awesome. Gotta go to the Smithsonian.
I've been in the Smithsonian. When I was working with the kids, we used to take them on trips and stuff like that, when I was a teacher. And I used to work for Upward Bound in the summertime. And so we went to the Smithsonian 2 or 3 times. In fact, my middle granddaughter, I took her with me and stuff. So, I've been a lot of little places. I've been more America than outside America. You know, I've been to Jamaica and Bermuda and a couple of other places, but I've been more in America, visiting America than outside America. And that's really what I wanted to do. But I would love to go to Europe. You
Yeah,
know,
Europe would be cool. Australia, of course.
yeah.
I like to go.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to Easter Island.
Okay.
I want to see those big heads, those big statues. And I want to go down to Machu Picchu in Peru and in Honduras and Costa Rica and Mexico and see all those pyramids that are there. Other than Egypt too, to see those pyramids and
It's scary to go there.
and then
Oh, okay, Carol. Okay, Carol. Thank you for stopping by and wishing him happy
yeah,
birthday.
yeah. Thank you, Carol. You have a good day. Give that puppy love. I know you've got one left. Give him a lot of love.
No, wait a minute, Carol. Don't be blaming that on me. All I did was make a statement that everybody needs to go on Aaliyah's deals. Okay, you did that yourself. Don't try to blame me. But yeah. Well, I'm gonna get ready to go to bed. You know, I turn into a pumpkin,
That's
and I have.
fine, man.
Hmm?
Okay, I'm here. It's not even 5 o'clock yet, so I'm okay.
It was not 5 o'clock yet.
Yeah, it's only 4:43 here.
Oh, where are you at?
I'm near Seattle.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
I'm on the
Yeah.
Best Coast.
We'll see. It's 7:43 here, and then it becomes 8 o'clock, and then I have to go through a whole ritual. I have to go clean up my kitchen. In fact, he's cooking right now, so I'll probably take my shower and stuff, and then clean up my kitchen because I can't go. I dream of dirty dishes in the sink. They attack me, so I have to clean my kitchen.
Well, I had
Yeah.
dreams of work last week. I kept waking up, dreaming I was working. Like, no, I don't. And get up, wake up, get up, walk around, have some water, pet the dogs. Go back, lay back down, right back into the same dream all night. And I was like, no. I woke up tired, and then I had a bad day at work because of it. It was just like, why? I'm going to work. Why am I dreaming about it? I want to dream about cool things.
I don't even know what I dream. And when I do actually know what I dream, it usually has to do with something or someone in the family.
I dream in color. I have vivid dreams, and every now and then, before the pandemic, I used to lucid dream all the time. As soon as the
Really?
pandemic, I can't do it now. I think it's I don't know what's going on with that. I think it's my anxiety with the pandemic, but
Probably so. I think everybody's got anxiety with the pandemic, hence all the daggone killings and stuff that are going
yep,
on for no reason.
we have a mental health problem in this country, and no one wants to recognize it.
Nobody wants to recognize it. We really, really
I'm,
do. And
thank you
it
for
is.
doing this. I very
Well,
much appreciate it.
I'm sorry that I'm, like, because Joey would have this all nighter and stuff
Oh,
like
we'd be
that.
going to midnight my time. He would keep us going all night.
Yeah. But see, he was that kind of an entertaining kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I said, I wake up at about 5:30 in the morning. I don't get up. I get up about 7, but I'm awake at 5:30. So, and it's been like that forever because I used to go to work and I used to be at work. I didn't have to be there till I got there, but because I had appointments all scheduled. Well, when I taught, I had to be there, but then when I was working as a counselor, I would just be there and do what I have to do. And I would always be there at about 7:30 with my
I get
cup
up
of
at
coffee
5
in
most
hand.
days for
Mhm.
work. And then days that like on Sundays and Mondays are my days off. I try to sleep till 7. That's my goal. And I'm up at 5. I go back to bed and I'm up at 6. I wake up at 6:30 and it's like, all right, you're up. Might as well start your day.
Mhm. Ray said that the day before the colonoscopy, she had a vivid dream about eating a sandwich. It was so sure. She was so sure that she cheated on the fast. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, my husband just had one. I had one a few years ago. I'm probably going
Yeah,
to do 4.
Renee's had them. They found polyps on her first one, so she has to go every couple of years now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
4 years.
See, Ray, that's why you had that dream because you couldn't eat and you were fasting and stuff like that. And yeah,
But
I got lucky when I had mine because I was in the hospital anyway. So they just said, well, we might as well just go ahead and give her the whole gambit. So it, I mean, I really didn't care. But my husband just had his last week, I think. It was sometime last week, or maybe the end part of the week before that, but it was real close. But anyway, that poor man. That poor man. And I tried not to make anything that, gave out odor or anything like that. So I made sandwiches and stuff, so that he wouldn't, you
Yeah.
know, I just felt so bad for him because especially, because he likes food, and he doesn't gain any weight. I can't stand him. Okay, but I'm just saying he doesn't gain any weight or anything like that, but he likes food and he likes my cooking and he likes his own cooking. And, you know, um, he just couldn't eat that day and he was like miserable, just miserable. So I said, just go to bed early and stuff like that. But then you can't go to bed because you have to get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but anyway, he's fine. So that was good, stuff like that. So
That's good.
today, and today was like really funny because everybody in the world called me today. But I did get all my appointments straightened out and stuff like that. So I'm good.
Yeah, I've gotten
So
messages, but
are you
it's my
gonna,
birthday. I should. My brother called me. I hadn't talked to him in a couple of weeks, so it was like really good to catch up with him.
yeah,
Mm.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
You're gonna catch up with people and stuff like that. Because tomorrow is definitely not promised to you,
No.
so I'm I'm just amazed that, you know, I think with all of the sad things that are going on in the world, there's a lot of good things going on too, though.
Yeah.
I think that people who really have hold to themselves are really trying to reach out and more and stuff like that. Even like people that I haven't heard from in my family before Joey, started like reaching out and calling and things like that, making sure that I was all right. Because no, I'm not the furthest away because I have relatives in California and stuff now, but I'm one of the furthest away from a lot of my family. So
I'm lucky most of my family's still around in the area. Everybody's within probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half drive at the
your
furthest.
in-laws.
And then I have a sister that lives in Kansas, and her family's a little more spread out. One of my nieces lives, I want to say Kentucky, but it might be Tennessee. I get them confused. I do. I don't know which one she lives in. She lives in one or the other. And then the other, like
Oh,
one of my nieces, excuse me, one of my nieces lives in the same town as my sister, and the other one lives about 2 hours away. And she's the one that comes up and visits. She travels. She comes up. She was an engineer. It was Boeing. Then they split from Boeing, but she's in human resources because she could. She goes, I just couldn't take the engineering anymore. It was nothing but stress. We had all these deadlines and impossible tasks. And so she went back to college. They paid for it. Got a degree in whatever the human resource degree is. I can't remember off the top of my head. And she's in human resources now, and she loves it. She feels she's making a contribution to her job instead of
yeah,
being, forced to like. She's like, it was like you get an impossible task. You just has to be done in 2 weeks, and 6 weeks later they finish it. It's perfect, but they're all mad that it's a month overdue. Yeah, but you told 2 weeks. It's going to take 6. We told you that at the beginning.
yeah.
So
I could never do a job like that. To be
neither could I.
perfectly honest with you, I wanted to be a chef, but my mother said no way. So,
I wanted to be an FBI agent when I was in high school.
really?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and then I joined the Army to go into, I'll go to the Army, I'll get the GI Bill. When I'm in the Army, I'll take some classes for criminal. I'll learn to speak Spanish. I had all these plans, and I blew my knee out in the Army, and they kicked me out. Before I was in 6 months, I was in for 4. I was the day I went into AIT, I was infantry. So your basic and what they call AIT, which is advanced training, is all the same thing. I hit a curb, ran on my knee. I heard a pop, and I, can't walk, can't run, can't do anything. Well, you're out, because they didn't want to do the surgery,
Wow.
and I didn't need surgery. Nothing was torn, but I cracked my I'm missing a piece of my kneecap. We don't know what happened to it, and my leg swelled up. But like 6 months later, my leg was, not fine, but better, and now it's fine. It's been, God, that's been 30 years now, 32 years actually, and yeah, when that happened, I got a job as a cook. Fortunately, I got became a bartender, got into drugs, but living the best life I can now.
Yeah,
Learning experiences.
everybody has a backstory.
Yeah. I just
Everybody
tell
has a
people
backstory.
that I didn't have a backup plan, and I needed a backup plan.
Yeah.
That was my I told people, have a backup plan. It's your dream, but have a backup plan because things happen that you can't control.
Yeah, that's true. But like I said, I wanted to be a chef, and my mother said, "No, you're not going to be a chef." And I'm like, "Okay." So then I picked teaching. But then I was glad that I actually picked teaching because when everybody started to get on my nerves, we had vacation. And it was the only place. And then, like I said, I studied on and became a therapist and I became a school counselor. But it was the only place where you could act at one particular time. The banks closed at 3 o'clock. And it was the only job that I know of that I could actually make the bank.
I couldn't separate myself from the kids.
Yeah. I had a friend that was funny because he kept saying in high school, "I'm going to become a teacher. I'm going to become a teacher." And I don't see him. And then I run into him. I'm like, "What do you do?" "I'm a teacher." I'm like, because he wanted summers off. He was just like, "Yeah, summer's off." And I'm like, "How'd that work out for you?" He goes, "Yeah, summer's off. Yeah, no, I'm going to school in the summer because there's something now I knew I got to learn." And he's like, "I had my first summer off, and every summer since then, I'm going to school or teaching summer school or doing something to get my job, to get the bonuses, to get the things." But he's like, he loved it. He did it for like 12 years.
But I never really worked when my kids were little, I didn't work in the summertime and stuff like that, unless I worked in the summer camp so they could go. But I'll tell you what, okay, that was the only thing that got on my nerves because I was off the same time the kids were off. That was a pain in the butt until I remembered until I remembered camp because my mother sent me to camp. Now I know why. So then I said, okay, let's try sending my kids to camp. So at least for 2 weeks. And then when their father and I divorced, of course, they would spend 2 weeks in camp and then right after the 4th of July. And then they would go directly to 1 week with me again. And then they would go to their father for the rest of the summer. So that was really good because that was kind of a pain in the butt in the summertime because you had to think of things to do with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when they got old enough to camp, I signed them up real fast.
That's what I liked about summers too. Is my parents worked, so it was like we ran the summer. Well, I don't know. Everyone says it was a different time. We knew what we could get away with and what we couldn't. Some of it was trial and error. Some of it was common sense. Like, nah, this isn't going to work. We're going to get in trouble if we do this. And the other kids I ran with were really troublemakers. I mean, we were kids, we're teenage boys. So yeah, we were troublemakers, but we didn't go looking for trouble with the police, trouble with we didn't do. Yeah, we smoked pot, we drank beer, but we didn't go out of our way to cause trouble for anybody else. Hey, Jelly Beans.
Hey, Jilly. How you doing? Nah. Well, in my generation, until I was a teenager, we just played baseball and all this other kind of stuff and, did all kinds of things. And we went to outdoor camp, because I was raised in the city. So, but then when I went away, I'd always go for 2 weeks to stay with my grandfather. And then, my aunts, things like that, they all lived down in Connecticut and down the Cape. But for the most part, I was a city girl and I used to just, go to the library and they had this like, I guess it's like an arboretum or something within the library. And I used to sit out there and read and stuff like that. So I kind of stayed out of trouble because I was into art and things like that. So I was not one of the real cool kids. I was what's known in the business as a nerd.
Yeah, I always think that's funny because I was like a long-haired metalhead, but I played D&D. I hung out with the kids that played D&D. I also played in a band. I talked with I had friends that were jocks. I got along with everybody. The thing I always thought
Yeah.
was funny was um, I remember when the jocks were picking on this kid because he was wearing a dress. And this is back in the 80s when you really, you didn't do that. You got beat up for doing that, and they beat him up.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why'd you beat him up? Because he was wearing a dress? Like, I'm Scottish. I'll wear a kilt. You're going to beat me up? And I remember, like, in high school, picking up the table and dropping it on their lunches, being like, come on, who's going to take me on? Three of you beat up this little kid. You're all 17, 18 years old. He's like 14, and you beat him up, but I'm standing in front of you, same age, same size, and you're going to sit there like cowards? And I got a lot of respect for doing that because to me, it just pissed me off that not that you were bullying, because everyone gets bullied and everyone does bully as a kid. I mean, it's just how we are as kids, how we learn. But it
Yeah.
pissed me off is that I was trying to get a kilt at the time, and my mom was like, well, I can make you one. I'm like, can you make me one like this? And she's like, she never made it because my dad told her I wasn't wearing a kilt. And I've got them now, but I actually lost too much weight and I can't wear them. But I wanted to wear a kilt. Like I was Scott. I mean, I was told growing up I was Scottish. I found out later that I'm I call myself a Celtic Viking. I'm 50%
Okay.
Celtic Islands, 40% Scandinavian, and then 10% everything else. Down the up into Caucasia Mountains, down to Turkey and Armenia. 1% Pacific Islander too, which I have like okay. I have no idea where that comes from, but it's only 1%, which just trips me out. So how do they know that? How far back does that go? That
I don't really know. You know what I mean? I don't really know. I just know what my mother told me. And I mean, I know what my father is because he came from Mississippi. So, but, and he's Chata, and he's Black American. So, but my mother is Portuguese. But when my girlfriend years ago, she was studying, to be a doctor, and she had to do the DNA testing and all that. So she said, can I use you as a guinea pig? I said, why not? So yeah, Jilly Bean, I know that first time that you dropped that kid off with your friends and you just feel like I need to be there. I know what you're feeling. But so she did my DNA, and when we discovered that not only was I Portuguese, but that I had Irish in me, and some French, and some kind of I don't know whether it was Brazil. I don't know. No, I got to go pull those papers out. But I'm like, whoa, damn! I didn't know all that.
yeah,
You
it's
know.
weird because when they break it, like the first one I got was real simple. Your British Isles, Scandinavian, and then it was like 1%, and it was Caucasian Mountains, Turkish, Armenian, and then 1% Pacific Islander. Then it breaks up to where I'm like 15% British, 12% Scottish, 8% Welsh, whatever's left of that 50s Irish. And then it went 3%, 2% all along the Scandinavian coast. And then it went even into Britain or into Norway, not Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, Belgium, and then into France. And then it went like the 1%, everything became like a little bit of Germany, a little more German. I lost the Turkey and Armenia, disappeared on that one, but I was still 1% Pacific Islander, which I just like, okay. Again, I don't know how it works. I was always told though, growing up, that I was Cherokee, that you're part Cherokee. You're like 1/16 Cherokee. I'm not Cherokee at all. I got no Native American blood, which I always felt guilty because I never felt a connection to the Native American culture until I found out I wasn't. And then I felt a connection to it
Yeah. Well,
or
I know that
respect
I
for
know
it
that I'm
more.
Chata.
Maybe that might be the better word.
I'm part Chata. Well, that's on my dad's side. So I know what tribe his family came from. And I know my grandmother, my grandmother and my grandfather was the Indian on my father's side. So, and actually my great grandmother was a child of a slave. She was emancipated at 13, I believe, either 12 or 13, because they didn't know much about age then. And when they were leaving, okay, and they were just, out of slavery and stuff like that, the carpetbaggers used to come after them. And so the Indians hid them. So my grandmother at the time was this really pretty girl and stuff like that. And she married the chief's son, from what I understand. And he tried to live off the reservation, but then he went back. And so, you know, but
Yeah.
my father used to visit him from time to time. He somehow or other they had their own way of visitation rights and stuff like that. But then my father left Mississippi and went into the Coast Guard. He went into the Navy first, and then he went into the Coast Guard after. I don't know when all this all happened because when my parents got married, my mother was like 30 when she had me, 31, 32. So, my father was he was about 5 years older than my mother. So, but I do have his papers from the Coast Guard. And I never really I could probably just sort it all out and stuff like that. I really don't give a damn. I mean, he was my father. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And that's all I cared about.
Yeah. My dad was actually 10 years younger than my mom.
Really?
Yeah, when my dad met my mom, I want to say he was 28, 27, 28, and she was 37. She's twice divorced, and she had 4 kids, but my 3 oldest siblings were with their dad because when they got divorced, I can't remember where they were living, but she wanted to move, and the kids didn't want to leave the high school. Well, the 2 older girls didn't want to leave the high school, and my brother, he kind of wanted to go with his mom, but he also wanted to stay with his sisters, and so they all stayed, and they were in West Seattle. And then my mom moved back over to Bremerton, and then married another man and had my next sister, and then they got divorced, and then I think my sister was 3 years old when my dad came into her life. And then they tried having me for a bunch of years, then gave up. And then in 70, boom, here I come. Like, surprise. But when you gave up, here I am.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun, kind of funny. So you got Portuguese in you too, huh, Julie Bean, huh?
Oh, yeah,
And it's
she's
funny.
talked about that. Yeah. She's
Yeah,
Italian, I think Portuguese, and something else. I don't remember.
yeah,
This
she
is
was
stuff
saying
we
she was
talked about
Portuguese
with
and
Joey. We
Italian.
talked all this stuff with Joey. It's just like being with Joey. We talked about all this.
Yeah. And it's funny because I speak about as much Portuguese. I speak more Spanish than I do Portuguese because I'm not around my family. I haven't been around my family like that for years. The last family reunion we had was like in 2007 when I went to Las Vegas. And I came back in time for the family reunion. Okay, and we
It
haven't
probably
had one
does one every 5 years, I think it is, every 3 years. But I haven't been invited for the last 10 or 15. I can't remember the last time I was invited. I think they forgot I'm up here because my dad died. I really do.
Oh,
You know,
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to Connecticut since before COVID. Okay, but and I think 2 years before that because I don't really. I had the stroke like 10 years ago, so I'm just really getting into feeling much better. So because the first 2 years I couldn't even travel.
oh, wow.
So but well, it's about that time for me because, I'm turning into a pumpkin and I don't want to be. I know that there was a person, I don't know, there was a male or a female that used to fall asleep on Joey's channel.
Mari.
Yeah, he
Mari.
used to
Yeah.
snore. He used to snore. I
Yep.
don't want to be that person.
I've come close because I partake of the marijuana, and sometimes they'd be like, "Are you asleep?" I'm like, "Nope, just high." My eyes will get really low, and I remember one time I was like, "But I'll let you go." Again, thank you for this. Appreciate it so much.
I appreciate all of you. Thank everybody for coming too. It was really
Yeah, thank
nice.
you for coming.
Don't forget to email me what I asked you to
I
email me.
I will.
All right.
So okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, I'm
Everybody.
gonna, as in the infamous words of Ray of Sunshine, I'm gonna go love my pillow. Yep, I really am. Well, I have a ritual. I gotta go clean the kitchen because he's cooked and everything like that. So I gotta go clean the kitchen up and everything. I can't go to bed without cleaning that kitchen. You don't know. The dishes become so big and ominous, okay? And then they come and they wake me up, and things like that. So I can't. But anyway,
Okay.
everybody, I love you all. Thank you all for coming.
Well, everybody,
Have a
thanks
happy
for the birthday.
birthday, and I will see you in a couple of days, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I got to come on tomorrow anyway, so I'll see you then. All right, good night, everybody. I love you. Stay safe. God bless. Hold your families close. Okay, and take care. Bye-bye. See you in the next video. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming, Ray.